Money is what makes a world go round. But some currencies are universal. After last year's monumental clash at the Castle event, WWE returns to the United Kingdom for another date with history.
What an incredible moment.
This summer, the Money in the Bank premium live event goes global.
This is huge.
With WWE's most unpredictable spectacle heads to London and the O2 Arena.
Climb the ladder, grab the briefcase. Inside is a contract that guarantees you a championship opportunity. This is Money in the Bank.
For the first time ever, Money in the Bank emanates overseas from England's capital city.
It just doesn't get any bigger than this.
On Saturday, July 1st, the United Kingdom hosts a career-altering night.
The opportunity of a lifetime. Get your popcorn ready, world.
With the glory of victory.
Wait a minute, it's happening. Is he gonna cash in?
It's just the beginning. You can bank on it.
What is happening, everybody? We are here this week to talk to you about Money in the Bank. Give you some nice odds. Let's see what we got going for some wins. I'm Cav Manning. I am from the Lingus Mafia podcast, joined as always by Mr. Billy Body. We are going to go over all your betting stuff and then go into a little more detail as the show goes on after that. Billy boy, you are attending the show.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is the show where we talk about how to make money. Last week, I was talking about how I might potentially lose money. So it's a very different show. But yeah, these are very popular shows, obviously, because we've had a decent success rate with it. But if you want to get all my official plays, of course, because anything can change between now and then, I just want to make it very clear. These are predictions at this point. There is a little bit of inside info that does go into it, but I always say everything before the day of the pay-per-view is preliminary, because we've seen multiple things change. I always look back to the 2020 Royal Rumble, and I know the person who won that Rumble very well, and I know that they didn't know that they were going to win the Rumble on the day of the Rumble. So I always use that as a prime example. In fact, both Rumble winners changed during the course of the last 24 hours on that particular show. Now, it doesn't always happen. I'm not Dave Meltzer with the whole plans change for everything that I've reported incorrectly, because I don't report that much incorrectly. But yeah, this is all preliminary. As I said, it is a mix of watching the show, especially in Cav's case. For me, I do hear bits and pieces, but honestly, nothing is ironclad till the final day. So when I get more info, that's when I'll put out my official betting picks. All of that goes over at lockbetting.com. Lockbetting.com is my pay service that has now delivered 121 months in a row of transparent track profits. We are now past the mark where we can say decade. It's over a decade of profit. That means I'm 121-0. No losing months for 121 months. So if you want to make some money, sign up for the service. Everything's going to be back by the end of July. We're going to be putting out soccer futures. We've got Wimbledon tennis coming up at the start of July as well. We've had a successful tennis season so far. We've got Money in the Bank. We've got UFC cards. We've got a massive boxing match at the end of the month, end of July, with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence finally fighting. So good time to sign up. I got my plug in at the start because last week I did not plug my shit at all. So here we go.
So I got a couple ideas for you when we start going through the betting thing on what I think they should do. I doubt anything's going to happen that I think they should do, but I would love to have your opinion on it because I respect your thoughts on storylines and all that kind of stuff. You're better at that than I am for sure. So let's go through the betting lines. What's first?
All right. Move you onto loudspeaker so I can see the screen, because odds have been changing with this all day. So we're starting with what I think is the main event, and I still think it's going to be the Bloodline Civil War. I think that will main event. I think despite the fact it's Money in the Bank with 2 Money in the Bank matches, if you look at the poster, everything centers around this, and everything when it involves Roman Reigns centers around Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa are the 4 to 6 favorites to win this match, and it's 5 to 4 on the Usos. So essentially, for new people, $100 on the Usos would win you $125 profit. $100 in Roman and Sikoa would win you $67 profit. So in betting, we don't really think of this as being a significant favorite. You'll see some far more significant favorites later. This is quite a close match, although we obviously have a clear favorite in this match.
I'm gonna go with the Roman side to win, but I will not be surprised at all if the Usos do. And it's Solo. Obviously, they're pinning, so this is a real rough one. I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of nonsense that goes on here, like cheat to win type of stuff, but. To keep that bloodline thing a little bit strong still, because they're reeling that nobody's left, it's only 2 guys. You kind of gotta win to say, see, you should have stayed. We're still the best over here. One of those things, but then you get the Usos back together for the first time, kind of. First time as good guys or whatever again. I just got to go with the whole Roman deal.
It's a difficult one simply because the Usos have done this turn, but they've not been hot in terms of win-losses. You got to think the reason we got here was because Roman was disappointed in them continuing to lose and talking down to them. They lost the titles at WrestleMania, and then they lost a rematch as well. So and then they misfired as well at the last pay-per-view before finally Jimmy turned and then Jay turned. It's a weird thing to say, really, but I thought the Jay turn was really well done.
Yeah. But
I always felt like that would possibly be leading to a singles match when he turned. That would be like the big match coming out of the Bloodline, but it isn't. It's this tag match instead. I wonder if there is a singles match down the line. In order for that to happen, I would probably think that Jay needs to win and may need to even pin Roman, which I don't think they're going to do. The only way he would do that is if there's a complete turn and there's something that happens from Solo being laughed at tonight when they called him when they said that he should be the tribal chief, which is the mind games from the Usos tonight, where they said that Solo should be the next tribal chief, and Roman was laughing, and Solo was looking at him in an angry kind of way in terms of why would Roman find it so ridiculous? Why is it ridiculous that I would be next tribal chief, etc.? So there could be something in that, and then we could see a real Bloodline Civil War where it's a fatal 4-way for the belt or something leading into SummerSlam. I'm not too sure, but I ultimately think that Solo gets onside. But I think the next tease would be for him to leave. I do think those two will misfire or miscommunicate in this match, but I do think they'll get out of it. It wouldn't even surprise me to see if they do find a new Samoan to join that group and put them back up to 3.
Yeah, I was trying to think is there anybody around? I thought it was like, isn't there an Umaga descendant somewhere? So I mean, there's 5 billion everywhere, but
Umaga has a son. Yeah, Umaga does have a son, who I think is a wrestler. I think he might be a vegan or something. I think I was reading as well, with like a vegan wrestler or something.
Daniel Bryan's his son. Okay. Yeah, this is rough, and I can even see it to be if Solo flips, then Roman's like, I'll do a gauntlet match and I'll beat all 3 of you in a row, eventually. One of those things, like just always win. But God, do they have the balls to have Roman take the pin in here if they're going to lose too?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to see a direction for him for SummerSlam because his whole direction since WrestleMania has been kind of the disintegration of his own family, his own group. That's all that's really been happening since Mania. He's been annoyed that they lost the tag titles. So how do you say, for example, he wins the match, which I do think he'll do. It's interesting to see how they get out of it. So it's interesting to see how they suddenly go, okay, at SummerSlam you're facing Bobby Lashley, or okay, at SummerSlam you're facing Randy Orton. I mean, they can do it, especially with Orton, because he's a big enough star to pull it off, where he just comes out and says, "I want your belt," or "You guys injured me," or whatever. But it's hard if it's anybody but Orton, I would say.
What's next?
Okay, next, I think, in my opinion, would be the Money in the Bank men's match, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. You have LA Knight as an overwhelming favorite now, at 8-13, which means you would need to bet about 165 to win 100. So he's a clear favorite. He wasn't, but he is now. Logan Paul is available at 5-2, which means for the 100 that you bet on him, you would end up winning $250 in profit. Damian Priest is 10-3. That's just over 3-1 plus 300. And the rest are not even worth discussing. Butch 16-1. So that's 16 plus 1,600, plus 2,000 Nakamura, 25-1 Escobar, and 33-1 Ricochet. I think it is down to the top three. This is correct.
So part of my thought is, since this belt is not the Roman belt, they can hand this thing around like it could be a hot potato. It doesn't even matter.
Well, it could be. It can be the Roman belt, just for clarification, but it won't be.
Oh yeah, of course. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm talking about the Seth belt at this point, because this is the one they don't need to go, well, you got to hold it a long time to establish it. We already have a belt being established, the IC's being established, all that shit. So this belt can move around, and I can't imagine people cry about it because people cried about Roman hold to it, but people will cry, of course. So my thought is, because the whole Judgment Day things have been going on, right? And they've had talk about, you wouldn't cash in on me, would you? No, of course not. You know, we're together. But then there's like a little dissension between Finn and Priest. And Priest is always losing, and he's lost ever since Bad Bunny. The guy can't get a win now. So I'm thinking, nobody's thinking that Finn is winning the belt. How about Finn does win the fucking belt, because that's so not thought of. And it's a good storyline of why he's pissed, because he has beaten Seth before. Why can't he do it again? He should be able to do it again. He beats him, and then you get Priest winning the Money in the Bank, which then could put Priest to that good guy side, which I keep talking about, that I think he would flip into the good guy stuff because he's a good performer and all that kind of shit. And it causes a lot of issues, because all Priest's got to do is give a couple looks here and there. Anytime like they're having a match and they're at ringside with their guy who's the champion, and the guy gets laid out, and then it kind of just thinks twice about cashing in. And everybody notices that, oh, shit, is he going to? And it's like, no, I never did, but he gave a look. They could play with that quite a bit. So that was my theory of, do they dare to do this? I highly doubt it. But I don't think that's a horrible way to go. What do you think?
I mean, they could do the three-way thing where he interrupts in the middle of the match, and it's easier for him to pin Balor.
Yeah.
Than Seth.
Because I'm assuming, my first thought was that Logan Paul's winning this because he's not there all the time, and he can have that briefcase be out of sight, out of mind. So when he does want to just pop in for a spot here and there, and also that if Seth is the one with it, he just had a whole fucking grudge match with Seth. And I wouldn't be upset with Logan Paul actually taking the title off of him. Like, he's actually could deserve to win that title. He's that good in the ring.
Well, I wouldn't think that Logan Paul would be here unless it was to win. It's a weird match to insert him into, unless it's just a case of you're creating a match off a spot. So, for example, Ricochet costs him, or he costs Ricochet, or him and LA Knight cost each other, and then Priest wins. Unless it's something to set up what's coming up next. Either way, Logan Paul needs to win a couple of matches, because as much as we've been impressed by it, you can't keep losing. You can't keep coming in here and losing. He is the biggest star in the company, other than arguably Roman, but I still think worldwide. He's bigger. So you've paid your dues. I think by coming in and saying, I'll lose to Roman, I'll lose to Seth, he's already paid his dues, in my opinion, in that first year of the contract. So in this second year, you now need to be utilizing him in a different way. I think one of the key things for me, and this is that mix of inside information and a prediction, is the fact that Ari Emanuel, who's now the head of the WWE essentially because he's the head of Endeavor, if Logan Paul doesn't win this, you would have to convince Ari Emanuel why that's a good idea, because they're very solidly behind Logan Paul and the Prime brand and everything and what it can do for the company. And the fact that he has established himself as a believable character and a believable wrestler, not just in terms of in-ring appearance, but physically, when you look at him, when you look at the modern-day wrestler, it's not putting Logan Paul up against Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. It's putting Logan Paul up against LA Knight, Ricochet, people like that. So for me and for Endeavor, it's perfectly acceptable, and it's almost a better look to go with. Yes, he looks great, or he looks equal to everybody else, but he's a huge star who can carry this off. So I think that if they are going to go in the LA Knight direction, there has to be some talks with Triple H, Vince, Ari Emanuel, in order to say, we do plan on making him the champion. We do plan on, utilizing the relationship between the Logan Paul WWE Endeavor brand, all that branding. We do intend to utilize it, but at the moment we've organically got somebody over with this LA Knight guy, and this is something that doesn't happen often in our business, where we catch lightning in a bottle, and usually when this happens, we need to capitalize on it. That wrestling side of it needs to be explained to the execs if you are going to end up with LA Knight winning. So that for me is key. I think initially, I don't think Logan Paul would have been here if he wasn't winning.
Okay, what's the next bet?
Next, I've gone for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and in this one, you've got Io Sky as the even money favorite. Even money means you bet 100, you make 100. It's like betting with your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like just basically me saying to Cav, I bet you the Packers win more games than the Bears next year, £100, $100, that kind of thing. That's evens. I bet you they do, actually.
We can actually have that bet. Go ahead.
Becky Lynch is the second favorite at 3-1. Trish is at 6-1. Bailey 7-1. Zelina 12-1. And Zoe the lesbian at 12-1.
This is a real difficult one.
She's that big butch lesbian, surely, right? Or isn't she?
I think she is. I think they've said that. I'm not sure. I think I heard that before, that she was. This makes a lot of sense. What's that?
When I was a little girl, I was watching wrestling, and I used to play with myself to Trish, not to John Cena.
It's probably
all the girls like Randy Orton, and I like Trish.
And I'm not mad at her about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. She finished. Thank you. For Trish to win makes sense because she's just never had that before. Becky, of course, being the star, and she's never had that before. But I think they almost cancel each other out because they're in that feud.
Right.
Yeah, the EO does make a lot of fucking sense. And then it causes a big problem with Bailey and her and that whole thing fucking ending because you see that she's turning into a good guy. So, and then the other ones are fucking, Zelina's not going to fucking win anything. And Zoe, forget it too. So, yeah, I think I'd go with the EO Sky too.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I mean, EO's the pick, yes. But in terms of trying to find some value here, rather than picking an even money favorite, I would have a small sprinkle on Trish, just simply because not all cash-ins need to be successful. She has a bodyguard in the match, which is different to Bailey and EO, who are not going to be on the same page. And they are spiraling off into a match against each other. Whereas Trish failing her cash-in because of Becky can actually add to the feud. And it also keeps Rhea Ripley as the champion on that side. So you can have Trish trying to cash in on Rhea and Becky messing the cash in up because she didn't win the ladder match. So all feuds continue here, and this Money in the Bank is kind of used as a feud enhancer. Zelina's not relevant to it, but Bayley and Io can enhance their feud, or at least start their feud off the back of costing each other the match. Becky cannot win this ladder match because Trish does, because of Zoe. And then Becky can cost Trish the cash in, which essentially keeps Rhea as champion. You don't need to break up that title reign. So that would be my outside pick. Logically, Io's the play, but even money favorites are not fun. So, I mean, that's easy. I could do that.
They gave us a little tease on Raw, too, where Becky was, checking out Rhea and said, I'd like to, she wins the briefcase, she's going to watch her squirm. So they put that in our head, too, a little seed that if Becky wins, that she's, always on Rhea. So what do we got for the next bet?
So next is the World Heavyweight title match where Rollins is facing Balor. He's the 1-3 favorite, and Balor is a 5-2 underdog.
This is I gave my thoughts on before about I'd love to see the Priest Priest winning the Money in the Bank and then Balor actually winning the title, because then it just causes problems and everybody looking over their shoulder. And this could go for a real long time and be good story, because Judgment Day seems to be the stars of Raw. They're like the main storyline on Raw every week. But I doubt they go that way. I hope they do, but I severely, doubt that. And I would expect Rollins to hold the title still.
Yeah, it's still quite new. It feels like a belt that was made for Rollins to hold on to for a little while. Obviously, you got the cash in there, which means that you could take it off him, start a feud with the guy who cashed in on him, and do little things like that as well. But at this point in time, I think it's too early to take it off Seth, especially with Balor, who seems like he's just shoehorned in here. And I think they've done a good job, because when I looked on the surface of it after Rollins won, there was no challenges at all. It was like, okay, everybody said, oh, we need this other belt. Roman's been a champion too long. There's no one left for him to defend it against. And then Seth wins a new belt, and then you look around at the landscape straight after the draft, and you think, who the fuck's he going to defend it against? It's not realistic that he'll lose to Priest. He can't defend it against Dominic. He can't defend it against Cody, because Cody's obviously just come off the Mania match and he's in with Roman, and he's invested in a feud of Brock. He can't defend it against Brock. So immediately, Seth Rollins won a belt that you couldn't find anybody to defend it against, after everybody for so long about Roman having his title for too long. But it's very weird, because I could honestly find you as many fresh opponents for Roman as I could for Seth, because Seth has almost faced everyone in the company at this point. And I mean like throwaway matches on Raw, because he wrestled so much as the IC champion and had so many small feuds as a in that period where he was
as the IC champion, or
yeah, he was the IC. He was defending the belt against everybody as the IC champion. He was Intercontinental champion, wasn't he?
God, you know what? That fucking escapes
me. Yeah, I know, you never remember anything.
No, not that he was the IC champion. I'm like, why does that fucking completely escape me? I'm like, IC champion. Wow, yeah, that's scary that I don't remember that at all.
He was a US champion as well.
Yeah, that I know, because it was like US champion constantly, and with that whole thing against Cena and all that shit. But yeah,
no, I mean, he was a US champion recently. He lost it to Theory.
Yeah, it's true. Jesus Christ. See, this is how much like it sticks in my head nowadays. It really, it's a hard digestible show now.
Well, this is what I mean. This is my point. During that time, he's had matches with Theory and Lashley, and these people have gone to SmackDown. But previously, he's had feuds with Owens, and he's already had a feud with Dominic Mysterio, although the roles were reversed. He's now had television matches with Priest. He's now in a feud with Balor, but don't forget he already beat Balor in the semi-finals of this World Heavyweight title that he has. The tournament to get there, they try and make you forget that he actually only beat him about 6 or 7 weeks ago. So this is the problem. This is the problem that they have. I remember, because I have to remember. But most people don't remember what happened 6 or 7 weeks ago, although they went on their podcast and said, oh, what a main event on Raw that was. Like, what a great main event. Like, Rollins won after 26 minutes and 14 seconds. That crap that they do.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I just remember the result, and I know this is not a fresh match.
Huh.
But I think Rollins wins.
Yeah, I just think, it's one of those, like, I think it's good in theory that maybe they pass it around, but Rollins is over. I mean, he sure as fuck doesn't need that belt. He's over as much as, needed. The belt's not necessary for him, and you could pass it around since the belts are sticking on everybody else so long. But I think they keep it on him. How many matches are there in this card? Because the only thing I could think of now is the women's tag. Is there other stuff other than that? Oh, we got Cody and Mysterio.
Yeah, they added a women's tag, and then they have Riddle and Gunther. But Riddle and Gunther is very much something we can move past quickly because Gunther is a 1 to 10 favorite. You would need to bet $1,000 to win 100, and I think that's pretty clear. But one thing I will talk about instead of talking about the match, did you? I don't know why I'm asking this question because you probably didn't. You didn't see my story, but you didn't see my story this week about this Intercontinental title reign of Gunther.
No, I saw that you posted that it was it on your pay service though?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't see it.
Oh, I thought usually I put it in the group. Okay, so I'll read this very quickly instead of talking about this match, and then we can move on. Gunther is now locked in to break the Honky Tonk Man's record as longest reigning champion. This decision was finalized just before the latest draft. However, many sources believe it was finalized the day before WrestleMania 39 Night 2, when plans to have Sheamus pin Drew McIntyre to complete his long-awaited Super Grand Slam was scrapped. Sheamus would have been just the second ever to achieve the feat: WWE US IC Tag, Rumble, Money in the Bank, and King of the Ring. You can use the comments to tell me who the only person to have achieved it is. Do you know? Who's won the WWE US IC Tag, Rumble, and the Money in the Bank? And
Jesus Christ!
Only one person.
Only one person has done that.
I think it's easier if you try to go for a Rumble, Money in the Bank, King of the Ring. It'll be probably easier to get because loads of people have won WWE IC and Tag now. There's loads of Grand Slam champions.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I'd be here sitting here thinking about it forever. As soon as you say it, I'll know it. Of course. Who's it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let you think about it while I keep reading.
Okay.
Oh, just try and think of the King of the Ring, Money in the Bank, and Rumble. That's the easier way. Disregard those first three. Although that is one of the ones that Sheamus is missing. He's missing the IC. Gunther was moved up to Raw. Gunther was set to be moved up into the Raw title picture after the draft and was a leading candidate for Money in the Bank. However, Triple H has a long-standing dislike for Roy Wayne Ferris, dating back to WCW, which only intensified when Honky Tonk Man aligned himself with the Hart family in 1997. He was shortly fired after the Montreal Screwjob and went on to bury Triple H in multiple interviews. Sources have said that Triple H sees the Honky Tonk Man being the longest reigning IC champion as an embarrassment, and he views Gunther's reign as a chance to erase the biggest part of Honky's legacy, a wrestler he doesn't like and whose work he doesn't respect.
Wow. The only person who comes to my mind is like Rollins, but I don't think he did King of the Ring.
No, he has not won King of the Ring.
Yeah, fuck.
You want one more guess?
No, just tell me who the fuck it is.
Edge,
motherfucker. See, it's King of the Ring that fucks me up because now they don't make a big deal of it. It's like there's nothing to it now. You know, that's what fucks me up.
but he won it when it was important.
God, I don't even remember. Because they never he was never King Edge, you know?
Not year 2000.
Wow.
He beat Angle.
No shit. See, that was the first thought in my head that was Angle. And I'm like, I don't think Angle was around for Money in the Banks.
No.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. It's funny with the Gunther thing because they really set it up like Riddle would take it off of him because they just keep screwing Riddle. So you'd think, okay, the good guy, finally wins, but not going to be the case. So what were the odds on this anyway?
I did them already. -1,000 on Gunther. So
Jesus,
that's why I talked about that. So the last match is that tag match, and Rouser. That's the combination name, Rouser. That's what WWE do. They just put the names together. But Rousey and Baszler are at 1-4 -400, and Liv and Raquel are at 3-1.
Yeah, I would assume the bad guys are keeping this. The Raccoon Sisters. That's what I prefer as their name anyway. The whole thing was weird with them just winning the other tag belts too. And then, Sisters in Satan's Service, they fucking leave. I don't know if they're coming back up to the roster, if they're going back down to NXT. And how shitty is that? They were the champions. They were tag team champions. It doesn't matter if it's NXT or not. They're tag team champions. And they both tap out at the same time. I mean, it's like embarrassing. How weak do they look then? They both fucking gave up. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're fucking doing, really. But yeah, I'll go with the Raccoon Sisters.
The Raccoon Sisters?
Yeah, Rousey and Shayna, the Raccoon Sisters, with their fucking eye makeup.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you there. Just because this was something that Ronda wanted to do, in spite of them asking her many times if to wait and hold off, and we'll get round to it, and we want you to just do this match at Mania or that match at this pay per view or whatever. But eventually, I think she put her foot down and got this. I believe they were trying to get as much done in that period where she had agreed to stay up to, but now knowing that she's happy to stay on a full year, they're willing to do this. And I think things are more comfortable then with Endeavor being there and being involved with Ronda previously, and Ronda was very profitable for them. And I think they want to find a way to get her profitable again. So I don't think this tag reign is going to last long. I think it's just a way to get Ronda in a good mood. One thing I've noticed being around the WWE hotel tonight, this evening, and the last couple of days, is the fact that they are now starting to. It used to just be Vince and Triple H, but they are now starting to treat talent very differently. Logan Paul isn't in the hotel. Roman Reigns isn't in the hotel. And Ronda Rousey isn't in the hotel. And neither is Undertaker, although he did accidentally pop in for 10 minutes because he went to the wrong place. But yeah, it is a case of they are quite comfortable now in saying these people are these people. They're paid more. They work less time, and we consider them to be important talent that we need to look after. We will send them in private planes and do whatever we can to keep them happy. And Ronda's in that category, no matter what. Like whether she's on television, you would no way say, if you were to compare, that Cody Rhodes is a smaller star than Ronda Rousey, the way they're showcased in the WWE at the moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the fact that Cody just came in this evening from Newcastle, England, on a normal flight, a Ryanair flight, and that Ryanair is like, I don't know, like JetBlue, the equivalent to JetBlue. It's just a shits. They came in on the JetBlue flight tonight, and came in a hotel. Like, yeah, Cody does get tour buses and stuff when he's traveling around in the US, but over here who's acted like a completely normal person. He came in with the rest of the crew. So did Becky and Seth, who also have the tour bus and whatnot. But yeah, Roman Reigns, Logan Paul, Ronda Rousey, Undertaker, Triple H. I don't know if Vince is here or not. Haven't seen these people at all. So she's still on that level, and she may be in this tag team and whatnot, but don't make no mistake. Don't make any mistake about it. She's above Bianca and Charlotte and Becky and all these people, just in everything except for television, in pay, in the way that she's treated and everything. That it will come back around to her getting out of this and winning the tag belts. But at the moment, I don't think that's going to happen until she says, okay, I'm quite happy to lose the belts, and okay, I'm quite happy to have my couple of matches with Shayna that I want to have, and you'll probably see that near SummerSlam or maybe just afterwards if they want to, do it in a period where it's harder for WWE to get people to watch pay-per-view, because we know Roman isn't going to work and Brock isn't going to work between August and January.
Mm-hmm.
So during the time where they just bend over and let NFL give it to them, we might see Ronda doing that breakup with Shayna. But until then, I think she's keeping the belts. Is my long-winded answer to who wins this match, because and it is a quite strong favorite. So it's hard to just say, hey, Ronda and Shayna win.
On a side topic, I'm always told that you are like banned from WWE events, right? And my reply is always, well, how do you...
events?
What's that?
WWE or AEW? WWE.
Yes. And I think both. Who knows? But it's my thing is always, well, how do you enforce such a thing? It's what do they got? Pictures hanging up on the fucking walls, and it's probably in a disguise. And I said, well, let's put this to the fucking test, because I've seen pictures already that Billy is at the hotel, and his son is taking pictures with people, and always the go-to is that Karrion Kross wants to fucking kill Billy, and they hate him and this and that. Well, I just saw a picture with his son with Karrion Kross and Scarlett, and they're even like acting in it, like he's making a face toward his son, ready to kill him and shit like that, right? And Billy's taking the fucking picture. So I'm like, well, I don't see a problem. And then Billy's not, in a fucking Humpty nose and glasses trying to disguise himself. But I'm like, they always say, well, if they know where he's at, he's getting thrown out. I think you should tweet from your seat and say where you're at tomorrow. And
my seat,
prove that.
They know where my seat. They know where my seat is because they comped it. The WWE comped the seat. So
you need to take a picture in the seat without your disguise, which you're told that you're always wearing a disguise, and take a picture from your seat with the ring behind you, and just tweet that out. Because then you could say, well, what the fuck? Look where I am.
I'm in no way banned from WWE. There's at least 10 people actually now who would be able to get me comp tickets, which would go through WWE. So
that's funny.
My surname's on a list, and there's no issue with it. And AEW, that would be a different thing, obviously, with Punk and Tony Khan. But my tickets are going to come via the Wembley Traders Association, because that event will never sell out, and there's no way they would throw out anybody. with a Wembley Traders Association ticket, because that would just be a bad look for them to piss off the Wembley Traders. So yeah, if you've got a Wembley Traders ticket, is basically it would be like a 200 level ticket on the cushion seats, and a complimentary program and some complimentary food and whatever. It's kind of just saying, oh, thank you, Wembley Traders, for for the work you do in the area and looking after our fans before the event. And because that's what the Wembley Traders are supposed to do. They're all the businesses around the outside. They're thankful for anybody that puts an event on there. So they're thankful to AEW, and AEW thankful for the traders for actually, being around there. Because the thing is, as I said, and it's crazy this week, it was Eid on in midweek. It was like a Muslim Christmas, so I saw all my family and stuff, and my dad was talking to his brother, and actually that event, are you busy? He was saying, oh, this is coming up and we got this wrestling coming up. And he actually said, I'm not expecting that we've been told not to expect that to be that busy.
Jeez.
And I literally just put my phone down and started to record and just asked him questions. And you can hear the audio. It's completely organic. Sometimes, obviously, there's a language issue which you won't understand, but for the most part you would understand it, and you would hear my dad clearly saying that we are not expecting much from this event, and we've been told not to expect anything above 60,000. Clear as day he says it, that we would be told.
Wow.
So whatever, man, like, it's fucking, these people are going to believe what they believe. Like, they'll fight for these people like it's their fucking, like it's their family members and whatever, because I mean, for some of them it's the closest thing that they have to that. So I mean, I still haven't watched last week's Collision or this week's Dynamite, and I certainly haven't watched the fucking Japanese versus USA baby. Did you watch that?
I did. I didn't pay for it. I did. I watch on Fire Stick the next day.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah, so
that's what.
Yeah, I'm not buying that. You got to just watch Jungle Boy's promo. All of a sudden, he knows how to fucking do a promo. It's unbelievable. It's completely fucking good.
Actually good. Was actually good then?
I believe he was. I believe he was 100 times better. It was bizarre. It was fucking weird.
This is the thing why you can't rely. So AEW can be bad a lot of the time, but then this week there was, I saw even Shepherd, like Brad Shepherd, tweeting saying, I can't believe this is Luke Perry's son. How did he not inherit 1 inch of his charisma? And I thought, really? Like, I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm sure that was a very easy promo to do. And he must have like been half decent.
He was.
Like, it would have to be. Well, Brad doesn't agree with you. So
I don't know if Brad Brad likes to shit on a lot of stuff. I hear that a lot. But if I was talking to Brad, I'd say you got to be fair. Come on, be fair about
it. And without seeing it, I did feel that potentially he was being unfair. But as I said, I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I'd like you to watch it and give your report next week about it. I mean, listen, the guy's not going to be talking like he's fucking, Punk or fucking Roman in there. So, I mean, obviously. But compared to what we've gotten before, this is way fucking better. And he did a good heel because he talked all his shit. And if fucking Hook's out here, I slap him around, and then he shit his pants and ran for his fucking life. It was fucking good. It was just fucking good.
Just backtrack. Just rewind 30 seconds. What did you just say? You just said he's not Punk or Roman or anything. Now, just that very sentence that you just said, you could never have said he's not Punk or Roman and pair Roman and Punk together as 2 talkers 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
Or 10 years. Because Roman had to be this version of Roman, because the big dog versus CM Punk, it's just a landslide. That was not a competitive promo contest.
No, not at all. And that was the thing. He was himself and relaxed. And I think Perry was a little bit too. He seemed more, because he's like, he would talk shit. And it's funny because he did what I said. Like, I go, oh, he should be wearing sunglasses. He's a star. I'm a fucking son of a star. And he started pretty much like that. I'm on the upper echelon and all that kind of shit. And he even says, and I'm banging the hottest bitch in this fucking company. I go, Jesus Christ. So he literally says, and I'm banging the hottest bitch in this company. So
no lies.
Yeah. No lies. And I guess that Fletcher guy said, I am, and because he's banging Sky Blue, I guess. But no. Anna Jay's better. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, you're going to have to watch that next week and find out. Do we have one more match to get to?
No.
It's not Dominic and Cody.
Oh, sorry. I thought we did that.
No. Last one. That's the one I forgot. Actually, when I was doing, I said, "Oh, is there a tag? There's only a tag match? Oh yeah, there's Dominic and Cody." Duh.
Oh yeah, and I said there was the. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So Cody's at 1-2, and Dominic is at 6-4. So these odds are closer than the last few matches that we've looked at. You have to put 200 and 100 on Cody. I don't know whether this is because of the rumors that Brock is in England, and That's started by the Boozer Wrestling account. I can't see Brock Lesnar coming here unless there's been a massive shift in his relationship with the company, because he was very difficult to get onto dates. The Saudi deal is paying him ridiculous amounts of money. What's the incentive to come to England? I can't see what it is.
Yeah, and I would fully expect Cody to get this, because it's been the little, heat magnet of Dom, doing sliding in, getting a shot, running away. So now I think it's, he's finally going to, pay for his sins, as they say, and just beat the hell out of him.
And that's the thing. If this is incorrect, like such a big rumor like that with with Brock being in England, and that's not something you get out of when you say, "Oh, plans change" or whatever. No, plans don't change for somebody like Brock Lesnar coming to England. Plans are either they're in place or they're not. They're not going to change their mind about that. So, or they're not going to not use him. So it's going to be a very big black mark that account will have to overcome. But that's the thing. Like, it seems like a lot of these accounts, like X0 and Boozer Wrestling and whatnot, they seem to just be able to hit a low percentile and then shout about their best guesses. And that's what's frustrating, because I've never done that, and I've never gone all out for outlandish guesses. I think one of the most outlandish stories I had was when Cena was going to be in a mixed tag, and I sat on it for a while, but eventually spoke about it. Or Jinder winning the title, that I was ridiculed for reporting that as well, and that was true. Becky being pregnant, I was ridiculed, or I was attacked for being immoral with breaking the story by you. Who I've not seen, by the way. I keep getting tweets from people saying, "Oh, Sean Ross Sapp's in England." I know it's not the USA, but and you think it's an island, but you can't like see each other from across the road. Like, I can't fucking see the guy, like, just from over the other side of the road. He's not just going to find him because he's here. So maybe at the arena or something. But no, I haven't seen him.
Well, that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. You know where to find Billy. He is on Twitter at LockBettingCom, and you can go to lockbetting.com for all of his fun stuff. And you can find all of my nonsense at Lingus Mafia, and you can go to patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. Enjoy Money in the Bank, kids. Go win that money.